the best feature thing that I did, there's a lot in that I like, but probably the most special one to me was probably Young Sherlock Holmes, because that was my first job at ILM, and it was really the first movie that I was able to do like a whole sequence myself, the Harpy sequence. So that was, it's a combination of that and then just being at ILM, because I have a history before that of like turning down, working on Star Wars and Empire Strikes Back, and then finally, saying yes to this project and going up there. Dennis calls me up when I was at Excelsior. It was like 1976. He said, "Hey, Harry, you want to come work on this movie called Star Wars?" At the time, this is where ILM started, in Van Nuys, out in the valley. And he said, it might only be about 2 or 3 months work, then you might be finished, and that's it, And I said, "Why?" And I said, "Well, Dennis, I'm not gonna leave my job at Excelsior that I've been at for like 6 years to go work on some science fiction movie that I never heard about. I don't know who the director is, and then I'll be out of work in 3 months." So I said no. And then and of course you think I would have known better on Empire, because of course I knew what was going on by then, but Empire I had to turn that down because Bill Stromberg and I just started a studio in San Clemente, which was crazy. So we had that going, and Charles Schneer was interviewing me about working on Clash of the Titans, with Ray, and so I had all this stuff going on. So that's when I turned it down at that time. So prior to Young Sherlock Holmes, I always had all these visions of ILM and like what it looked like and stuff. I always have dreams about it, and plus I knew all the guys that started it. Dennis and Ken and Phil and all those guys who all worked together. So I just had this big anticipation, of going there finally, and working on this show. So that was all of that, made that probably the special project for me. It was fun because we went out. The whole process was great. Dennis and I went out to the San Francisco Zoo, to shoot reference footage of parrots for the Harpies, because the parrots were about the same size, and that was like the closest thing to a Harpy. So it was kind of fun going out to the zoo that day with the cameraman and the trainer, and having them fly the parrot, back and forth and land on the trainer's arm and land on his shoulder, and getting all this footage, for reference. His main movement through space was on a mover, so that was go motion, and then his wings, inside his wings had a gear. Each wing had a gear, and then there was a cable running from the gear to the stepper motor, which moved the wings during exposure. But other than that, everything else, all the outer veins and arms of the wings, and the head and the arms and the legs and all that, of course, was all stop motion animation. But the wing movement and basic body movement was go motion.